quality, Josh. Good morning.
This is something that I'm really proud to be part of this morning. Kyle Smith with me. I'm going to jump right on in. Kyle, for those of us who know nothing about brewing beer, which is probably most of us, including myself, walk us through how the process works. This is very neat. It's only my second time ever in a brewery. I want to know how this works. How do you get started?
Okay, Josh. Well, what we start off with is you're starting off with malted barley, and that's basically the start of the brewing process.
And what are these things, giant tanks, called?
Okay, this is called a mash tun.
A mash tun.
Mash tun.
So you fill the mash tun with a bunch of barley.
Right, exactly, which goes through the mill, starts off in the mill, it gets crushed, and then it gets augered through this auger up here, basically drops down into the mash tun, and what you're doing there is you're converting the starches to sugar, which in the long-term process, basically the yeast feeds off of the sugar and creates alcohol. But anyways, it starts off here in the mash tun, basically sits there for an hour, and then the liquid from that mash gets transferred over here into the kettle. Okay. Once it's in the kettle, start the boiling process, and from there is where you add your hops.
And that's the kettle right here?
Correct. Okay. That's the kettle. Once it starts boiling, you add your hops.
And that's when you see people take the paddle and start stirring it up and stuff?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, so what you're doing there is you're basically trying to flavor your beer. That's what gives it the backbone, and the flavor is in the kettle itself. So you're doing an hour boil in there. Basically, you're getting what is at that time called wort. It's actually not called beer because it hasn't been fermented. So it goes through that process for an hour to an hour and a half. From there, it gets transferred through the heat exchanger and into your fermenter. So the heat exchanger, you're basically going from a boil down to about 65 degrees.
How did you guys learn how to do all this? This isn't something you can get your degree at Cal State with.
Correct. Yeah, basically most of the craft brewers in California and, well, throughout the U.S. started as home brewers. Okay. And
so you started goofing off at home, trying to get your own recipes together?
Exactly. Okay. Basically in my garage, mad chemist type thing. Playing around in the garage is basically where I learned how to brew.
What's probably your favorite part about being a brewer, especially up here in the mountains in beautiful Kern County?
Well, you know, it's just nice to have folks come in and really enjoy a nice beer that's refreshing, and just the love of making something that people can enjoy.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, guys, don't go anywhere. Again, I'll be with Kyle throughout the entire morning, learning more about the brewing process, and again, showing off one of our hidden gems in Kern County this morning, Kern River Brewing Company. It's also a restaurant, so be sure to stop by if you ever get the chance to come up here. It's a beautiful location. It's a neat location. It kind of takes you back to that, again, that simple but yet kind of Wild West feel. It's pretty neat. Guys, back to you.
I love it, Josh. And I look at Buffett, who once said, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. And Josh right now he's been drinking all morning at one of Kern County's local breweries. Josh, good morning.
I'm not drinking this morning, obviously. I can't drink on the job. But I tell you what, it is really neat being here in an actual brewery. Only the second time I've ever been in one. I've been in Lengthwise in Bakersfield. Kern River Brewery is where I'm at this morning, up in Kernville, California. And if you haven't been here, it's a very unique, very special location. It looks very rustic. It looks like it's local, and that's because it is. Kyle Smith here is with me. Kyle, there's really only 3 big breweries in the county. Now you're one of them. Award-winning, I just found out. You kind of walked us through how the process starts. But I see your guys, your co-workers here are very busy this morning. Describe what's going on right here.
Okay, so what we have going on here is we're getting ready to transfer the beer from the fermenter over to the serving tank so that we can carbonate it and serve it to the bar. So what we have to do is sanitize all of our lines. That's a big process because everything has to be a closed loop system for transferring. So basically you're running sanitizer through all of your lines that the beer is going to touch. So by the time it gets to the serving tank, everything's been sanitized and it's ready to serve.
Now, is this an everyday process?
Probably at least 3 or 4 times a week.
Wow. Yeah. And how is this one of the last steps in the process to actually getting the beer ready for the consumer?
Correct. Okay. Yeah, so the beer has been fermented. It's at its alcohol content. So once it reaches that, and we take our last gravity and we know that the beer is finished, then we transfer it from the fermenter to the serving tank. through a sanitized line.
My mind is blown how you know how to do all this. I mean, it would take me an entire lifetime to learn this entire process. For our new viewers here, describe what kind of beer you guys do, because you do many different kinds.
Correct. So we have our 4 core beers. We have the Class 5 Stout, Sequoia Red, Isabella Blonde, and Just Outstanding IPA. And then we do several seasonals depending on the time of year. Right now we have the Gravity Check, our Session IPA, and then our White IPA that's on right now, and also the Bourbon Stout.
What happens when someone walks in, they ask for a Budweiser?
Well, you know, we try to be nice about that. But point them to our lightest beer, which is our Isabella Blonde.
Okay.
But no, we don't have, we do not carry Bud Light.
And you're in a town of roughly, what, 1,500 people here, but yet you guys are doing great. The response in the community has been fantastic.
Oh, it's been great. I mean, we have a really nice local following. Like I was explaining earlier, Josh, most of our folks started off drinking Isabella Blonde, worked their way up to the Sequoia Red, and now our IPA is kind of taken over for us.
And in fact, we're going to show you what those look like, the finished product, in our next segment. Don't go anywhere. We'll be up at the bar in the restaurant area showing you all the lines of beer, which is the most popular, and which have KBAK actually brought them national recognition.
Hey.
Some national awards, some pretty cool stuff. From Kernville, guys.
Josh, while we've got you, I just want to ask you a quick question. How long did it take you to get to the brewery from Bakersfield? Is it like an hour away to get to Kernville for somebody who hasn't been up there?
It takes right about an hour. Yeah.
Okay. And Josh, how many beers do they have that they make there typically?
I believe it's 7 at a time, 7 different beers at a time you guys make, right?
Correct.
Okay, yeah, 7 at a time. Do you have certain seasonal beers as well?
Yeah, like right now, like I was saying, we have the Gravity Check and the White IPA, and then a Bourbon Stout.
They have a lot to offer, Rob. Yeah, I know. You're just chomping at the bit to get here.
I know. I'm salivating. All right, Josh, I look forward to seeing you in about 15 minutes with a look at those brew tips.
It's Hidden Gem this morning. Good morning, Joshua.
That's right, Amity. This is a really cool location. There's only a few breweries like it in Kern County. It's a very special, unique hidden gem, and I'm learning a lot. Not only how beer is made, but how you have to test it, I guess I should say. Kyle is with me, Kyle Smith. Kyle, when I first came in this morning, I noticed Mark over here with a test tube, and I'm like, what is he? He looks like a chemist over there. What's he doing? He said he was taking the gravity of the beer. Never knew there was such a thing. Describe to me what it is and how do I do it?
Yeah, Josh, so basically what you're doing is you're trying to take the specific gravity. So when you first brew the beer, you're taking what they call original gravity, which is usually going to be on the high end, and when it's finishing out, you're taking the final gravity. And what you do is you can do a calculation there, and it's going to tell you how much alcohol content you have in that beer.
Okay, because you have to have it down to a science, literally down to a T. The exact percentage of alcohol content has to be just perfect.
Correct.
Okay, so what do we do?
Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to drop this into the graduated cylinder.
The whole thing?
The other way.
No, just like this.
There you go. Yeah.
Whoops. Just drop it in?
Yep.
It overflowed. Is that okay?
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay, so what's it say?
All right, what you're going to do is you're going to spin this.
Oh, you spin it.
And then what you're going to see is you're going to see it in 2-degree increments. So you're going to read off of this high minuscule here. So what you're reading, just turn it just a little bit more. Okay, just below the 20, you're looking at probably final gravity of 24 right there.
Okay.
And that's going to tell you how much residual sugar you still have left in that beer.
So
if it's finished or if it still needs a little bit more time.
So if it's 24, what does that mean?
Basically what it's telling you there is it still has a lot of sugar left in solution.
Okay.
So on this beer, that's fine. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for a sweeter beer. Now, if it was the IPA, we're looking for a lot lower gravity, which is going to be a drier beer. It's going to tell you have a lot less sugar in content.
Men especially in your 20s, because he started out in his 20s. There's a lot to learn when you're brewing beer. This is way over my head. Who knew you had to be a chemist as well when brewing beer, huh? What's the coolest part about owning your own brewery, especially up here in Kernville?
Oh, it's just, you know, it's just the love of having people come in and try your beer and, you know, just having a final product that they enjoy.
And again, what's the response been like in the community?
Oh, it's been great. We have a great local following, and I mean, the locals is what keeps us afloat for sure.
All right, guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be giving you another tour in case you missed it in our earlier CBS show. We'll give you a tour of the brewery back here, show you what they do. Again, award-winning brewery. They took home the gold medal for their double IPA in Denver, Colorado. It is very impressive for guys, especially considering this hasn't even been open an entire decade yet. But again, already famous in Southern California, making a name for themselves. It's another Kern County hidden gem, guys.
5 o'clock in Europe, in Madrid, Spain. It's 5 o'clock. All right.
It's been 5 o'clock for a while, I think, guys. But no, we don't want to jump to any conclusions. You know, take away your jump to conclusions, Matt, for now. I'm on the job. I can't be partaking yet, obviously. But I've been having a lot of fun learning how the brewing process works in this very special, now iconic location in Kern County. Kyle Smith here is with me. He gave us a tour of the brewery all morning. I've learned so much, but now it's time to show people the final product. Describe this beautiful display you have for us right here. Just a little sample of what you guys make here.
Yeah, Josh. So this is our sampler, which is 4 of our core beers. Starting off with the Isabella Blonde, Sequoia Red, Just Outstanding IPA, and Class 5 Stout.
And what's really cool is you guys are award-winning. I want LJ, if you can pan over here, see that the lower medal on the wall. That's actually a very special award out of Denver, Colorado. Describe what won you that right there and exactly what it is.
Yeah, so the Great American Beer Festival is held in Denver every year. And basically what it is from, well, basically you can enter from anywhere in the world. And you have different categories that you enter in. Ours was the double IPA. It went up against approximately 200 different double IPAs, and we came out with the gold.
What was that feeling like? Did you feel like you're like, wow, we have something really special here?
I mean, it was great. I mean, for a brewery, it's like winning the Super Bowl.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's great.
What's maybe, I'm sure you have a lot of locals come in, a lot of tourists. For locals and tourists, what have people kind of gravitated towards? What's been your most popular?
Well, lately our most popular is the Just Outstanding IPA. It just varies on the weather also. Okay. You know, it can get anywhere up to 100 degrees here, and most people will gravitate towards the Isabella Blonde. It's a little bit lighter in alcohol, lighter in flavor. But, and then in the wintertime, it's more Class 5 Stout. Kernville's
a very small town. I love it already. I'm from a very small town in Illinois. Is this place kind of like Cheers? When people walk in, does everybody know your name?
Yeah, exactly. We have a lot of locals that like their bar stools. And, yeah, it's basically got that same type of feel.
Why do you think, I think this is why I'm here, but why do you think Kern River Brewery is a Kern County hidden gem?
Well, I mean, anytime you come in here, our customers are treated, you know, just like it's home. I mean, it's everybody knows your name basically when you come in. So even with the tourists, you're treated just the same, and it's just it feels like home.
Kyle, appreciate it, man. Amity Robbins, a toss back to you. Kyle wanted me to sample one on the air, one very special beer, if you will. Guys, here's to you. Here's a taste test.
Ooh, here we go.
That's delicious. That's a very special beer. They like to call it root beer. Yeah. They make their own root beer here too, guys.
We thought he was drinking a stout.
I know. I thought Josh had a good porter going there.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Well, thank you, Josh, for...
That last thing I need is more sugar.
Yeah, who fed Josh sugar?
Yeah, I believe it was Jimmy Buffett who said it's 5 o'clock somewhere in Frankfurt,